Hi Sparkled, welcome back to my channel, and I just want to thank you guys so much for all the support that I got on my last video. And there was a lot of comments that I was getting is saying that I was speaking a little bit too softly. I did get this microphone, so hopefully that solved this problem. And of course, I'm very new to YouTube, as you can tell, so a lot of these videos are going to be trials and error. I don't know if this is something you guys are going to like. I'm gonna switch up the channel style a little bit. So I was hoping to do some crochet while I tell this story, just so I can have something to do, you know, something to do with my hand. So this, our second video is going to be about the Watts family. I don't know if you heard about the Watts family yet, but you're gonna know about them now if you're watching this video. So Christopher Watt and Shannon Watt met on 2010. So Shannon Watt was originally married and went through a horrible divorce, which she said destroy her self-esteem. She explained that when she met Chris Watt, it was kind of like a lifesaver, you know, because of all the things she's been through. So she was very happy. Chris Watt and Shannon Watt did get married 2 years after, which was in 2012, and had two beautiful children named Bella Watt and Celestial Watt. They also call her Cece for short, which is what we're going to refer to in this channel. Chris Watt worked in a petroleum company. Not sure what specifically he did in that job, but I know Shannon Watt did work in a multi-level marketing company where she sold stuff, and she talks about the product. And you know, she was kind of like a social media type of person. She was very transparent with her customers. She posted a lot of stuff on Facebook. She went live almost every single day on Facebook to talk about the product, to talk about the new stuff they have gotten, and also to share a little bit about her life, you know, to get a little close to her followers and her loyal customers. As you can tell, Shannon Watt was an outgoing person. She was not shy at all. She was an extroverted person. Christopher Watt, on the other side, was a very shy guy. He was a little bit more introverted, did not share anything about his life. He was quiet. And you know, people's friends and family said that they were the perfect couple, you know, just because Shannon Watt was a little bit more outgoing. He brings a lot out of Chris Watt. She you know, they were the perfect family, a perfect couple. So because of Shannon Watt's job, she was able to, they did travel a lot. Shannon was very, very good at what she did. She was so good that she even won a car, a Lexus, in the company. On May 2018, Shannon Watt found out that she was pregnant with their third child, and she went on Facebook Live and recorded the whole conversation of her surprising Chris about the pregnancy result. Shannon Watt was extremely excited. She was happy, but his reaction was a little bit odd and a little bit awkward for someone who is expecting the third child. You know, it's a miracle, it's a blessing. On June 27, 2018, Shannon and her two children were on a 6-week trip to North Carolina to visit some friends and family. And it was said that Chris was not able to come in a long-term vacation like that due to his job. So the plan was that they were gonna meet at the end of, you know, after 6 weeks. They spent 6 weeks in North Carolina with and during that time, that's when Chris decided to be a little. So Chris Watt worked with a co-worker called Nicole. So I don't know how long Nicole and Chris has been talking, but during the 6-week vacation, he used that time to really get connected with Nicole, and really enjoy his time with Nicole. And while Shannon was in North Carolina, she started noticing a little difference in Chris' behavior and the way he was acting. So first of all, Chris was not replying to her text messages as much as he should be replying to his text messages, and her calls were also going unanswered. That's strange because you have your pregnant wife is in North Carolina with your two children, and you don't even have a little bit of time to even call them. You should be calling them every single day for just to talk to your kids. Like, she's pregnant and they're your kids. So it was a little weird. It was said that Shannon kind of knew that there was something up. It's she got her spider senses. Girls really know every single thing, and so she got a feeling that Chris was hiding something. July 7th was the first recorded actual conversation between Shannon and Chris, and that conversation lasted, you'll be surprised to hear it, 2 minutes. It lasted for 2 minutes. Are you gonna tell me that you have not spoken to your wife or have barely answered her text messages for over a month, and then the first time you guys spoke to each other, that lasted for 2 minutes? Fishy. Okay, Chris, you do you, boo. I'm playing. That's not what Shannon said. The same night that Chris finally had that 2-minute conversation with Shannon, his phone was also pinned to many different restaurants. So while Shannon was blowing his phone, blowing his messages, he was with that little side of his. Yep. Of course, after that 2-minute conversation with Shannon on the phone, Chris obviously did not text her back, did not call her back, said no good night, no I love you text, none of that. He woke up the next day and his excuse was that he was extremely tired, that he fell asleep, and that he is extremely sorry, blah 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 blah. Excuses. On July 14th, Shannon decided to have a little chat with her friend about Chris' behavior and get a second opinion from her. So she told her that Chris has been acting extremely weird lately. He has not been wanting her the way that she's been wanting him. He hasn't been texting her, all the stuff that Chris has been doing. And of course, Shannon girls are trying to calm her down a little bit. So they told her that to not worry about him. Maybe he just needs some time off, to just relax a little bit, and maybe he'll come through. On that same day that the girls were like, okay, just calm down, he probably has something going on, Chris also texted Shannon, and you won't believe what he said. He told Shannon that he does not want to be in this relationship anymore, and he doesn't want the baby. So of course, Shannon really loved Chris. She suggested that they give this relationship another try, and of course, and go to marriage counselor. He did not want to do no marriage counseling. He just wanted out of this relationship. Okay, this whole time Chris is telling Shannon that he doesn't want to be in this relationship anymore, blah blah blah. His little mistress Nicole and him are exchanging nude pictures. Yes, nude pictures. So his strategy and technique for saving those videos on his phone, what he would do, he will take the nudes, the naked picture that Nicole is sending him. He will transfer them into a fake calculator app. So the app look like a calculator, but it's a secret app of where he was keeping all these pictures of him and Nicole together. On July 28th, Chris and Nicole went on a vacation, on the Great Sand Dune vacation together. They stayed the night there. They took multiple pictures together. There are multiple pictures that confirm that obviously they went on that trip together. I'm guessing that if they stayed the night, a little bit more than kissing and hugging happened that night, if you know what I mean. And if you don't know what I mean, are you a little bit too young for this channel? So all of this is happening while his 15 weeks old wife and his 2 beautiful children are in North Carolina. Chris is pissing me off. Chris and Nicole went on that trip together on July 28th. On July 31st, Chris, which was originally the plan, flew to North Carolina to go spend some time with the family, and of course, and then they're all gonna get back home together. During that time, of course, after not seeing her hubby for 6 weeks, if you have not seen your significant other for 6 weeks, you already know what's gonna go down. At least that's what she thought was gonna go down. So Shanann decided that tonight she wanted to get a little. So she's expecting that Chris is already catching the drift, if you know what I mean, and that Chris is gonna be waiting for her in the shower after she's done. So she got out of the shower, got all cute, and guess what? Chris fell asleep. He fell asleep. After you haven't seen your wife for 6 weeks, the time comes and you fell asleep. Like, she does not understand what's going on. Like, texted her friend, she was like, can you believe that Chris denies the matches jumbo? Friends and family at that time did notice that Chris was acting a bit stranger than normal. His body was there, but his soul was not there. On August 5th, while all of this stuff is going on with Chris and his wife Shanann, Nicole, sneaky little Nicole, her Google history showed that she was searching wedding dresses. I guess she just wanted to look at them. I mean, who doesn't look at wedding dresses in their free time while seeing a married man? Who doesn't do that? You don't? Okay. Shanann has a very close friend / co-worker called Nicole. To not get the little Miss Sneaky Nicole versus the good Nicole, so we're just gonna call her Sneaky Nicole, well, right? Yeah, that fit her. So the good Nicole and Shanann went on a business trip on August 5th. During that time, the good Nicole did notice that Shanann was a little bit distant, a little bit down. She was not as like the happy Shanann that she used to be, the happy Shanann that social media portrayed her to be. So before Shanann went on that business trip, she left a handwritten note on the counter for Chris. So in the note, she basically explained how much she loved Chris and how much she valued the relationship, the kids. She explained that she did not want to get a divorce, so that was her last attempt to save the marriage. Shanann flew to the business trip on August 9. And August 10, Chris asked his neighbor if he can watch the kid for him so he can go watch a baseball game. Isn't true. He wasn't going to watch no baseball game. he went out with little sneaky Nicole. On August 13th, Shannon friend Nicole, good Nicole, dropped Shannon at her house at 1:45 a.m. in the morning. Good Nicole, after dropping Shannon home, the next morning she did not hear from Nicole. She didn't get any confirmation text, I'm home text. It wasn't until Shannon did not show up into her work meeting that Nicole suspected that something might be wrong. Like a good friend, she drove to Shannon's house just to see what was going on. So she knocked on Shannon's door and nobody answered, but they had a dog, so the dog was like barking the whole time Nicole was knocking into the door. So what really struck Nicole was that the fact that Shannon's car was parked outside. So it was kind of weird that Shannon was not home and has not been answering Nicole's text, but her car is parked in the driveway. So that morning Shannon did have a ultrasound appointment. So Nicole, she's super smart. Nicole is the good Nicole is a real MVP. So she called the gynecologist and found out Shannon did not attend that appointment as well, which is kind of weird and not very normal for Shannon to not attend her gynecologist appointment. That's very important. She suspected something was wrong. She can smell it. She can smell that something was wrong, so she called the police. The police wasn't able to do a search warrant just because they need a specific reason to have a search warrant be done. So the good Nicole called Chris at work and asked for Shannon. So he was like, I don't know, I haven't seen her since I left for work at 5 this morning. I was not having it. Nicole was like, I need to get inside that house and see what's going on for myself. So Chris left work and rushed over to the house. So they noticed that not only Shannon's car was parked in the driveway, her purse was left on the counter, and her wedding ring as well as her phone. Her purse had all the medication, which is obviously super important for Shannon to be taking all her medication because she is pregnant. So even if you're going out for a walk with the kids and you're coming back, obviously you can't leave your medication at home, but why would you leave your phone at home? Especially knowing that Shannon was a social media person, so why in the world will she leave her phone at home? There was a search warrant and an investigation immediately for the missing of Shannon and the 2 kids. Chris was called for an investigation. So he swore that he does not know what happened to his wife. They even asked him to take a polygraph test, and of course he failed that test so badly. Like, he completely failed that test. Even after he failed that test, he was still sticking to the story. Okay, Chris, cut the bullshit. Cut the bullshit. Chris' neighbor report that Chris or Shannon never parked on the driveway. So that night, the neighbor's camera picked up that Chris at 5 a.m. in the morning pulled his car backward all the way back and did 3 trips to the trunk of his car. So after that CC video and failing the polygraphic test, of course Chris was found guilty. So he asked to speak to his father before confessing. So during that time, obviously everything is recorded. He told his father that he was having an affair and asked Shannon for separation. So Shannon was outraged and strangled, and that's based on Chris saying she strangled their daughter. So because of that, Chris strangled strangled Shanann out of angerness for strangling their daughter, and then he transferred the body to an oil storage unit that is owned by his company. In August 21, Chris Watts was charged with, I'm gonna just read exactly what he was charged with down here. So Chris Watts was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, including an unlawful termination of pregnancy, since Shanann was 15 weeks pregnant at that time. He did eventually confess to the murder of his two little girls. So he said that he has been planning on killing his wife for a few weeks now, and he also did plan on killing the 2 girls while Shanann was on the business trip with her best friend Nicole. When Shanann came back from her business trip with Nicole, she of course was talking to Chris about their relationship and what's going on. So she asked Chris, if is there someone else? Am I not enough? Are you having an affair with me? Are you having an affair? And of course Chris told her that he does not want to be in this relationship anymore and would like a divorce, blah 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 and all that stuff. So during that heated argument, he told investigator that he went to the girls' room and tried to smother them with a pillow. So after he was done with the kids, he then hopped back on bed with Shanann and then handled the argument. By handling the argument, we all know what he meant, but I'm gonna try to be a little bit more, I try to keep it a little bit more less vivid and too crazy, just so YouTube doesn't take down my video. So after Shanann was passed out on the bed, Cece, one of their daughter, actually walked into the room. He said that he was unsure of how the girls were able to walk, just because he made sure that they were done before. So I guess they got back, they came back alive. The girls watched him put the mom body on bags, plastic bag, roll her up, and then carry her to the outside in the truck. He also took the 2 girls without their car seat and put them in the back of the car. So when he got to the location he was going to, he dug a shallow grave for Shanann and put Shannon's body in there. After one by one, he started with the youngest one, and after he was done, he put her body in the oil tank, and then the older one was crying, begging the dad to stop. Of course, after he was done, he took her body and also put her in the oil tank and closed the lid. Chris was sent to 5 life sentence, an additional 48 years for an unlawful termination of Shannon's pregnancy. Chris wanted out of the relationship. The only way he thought that he was able to get out of the relationship is if his previous or if his current family does not exist. So in order to move on and create a new family and have a new life with Sneaky Nicole, he decided to eliminate all his family and think that he can get away with it. I'm lost forward of this whole trial, and I'm sure you guys are too. So we are at the end. So let me know what you think about Chris Watts and Nicole and this whole story. How are you feeling, and how does this story makes you feel? Again, if you do have some suggestion on stuff that I can improve in this story to make this these stories as easily understandable as I can, please drop them down below. I would be more than happy if you guys subscribe and share the video, of course, and please don't be afraid to leave your comments down below. If you have someone that you also want me to talk about for our next True Crime Thursday, you can also write their name down below. I'll be more than happy to cover the story for you. I know that Christmas is coming up, and to show my appreciation and my gratitude, I do want to start giving some giveaways to show you guys how thankful I am and your support, how much I appreciate your support here. And I will see you guys next Thursday and every Thursday after that. Don't forget to stay fierce, to stay humble, stay wonderful, stay kind, and bye.